Hey everybody, and welcome back to StrangePlay. I'm Rik.
I'm Simon.
And this is part 2 of the podcast asking, why is gaming still stigmatized? So last week we covered a load of stuff and ended on the Wii, bringing communities together, almost. So I'm going to hand it over to Simon and carry on.
I've seen this in both Britain and the USA. People that are dead against video games, but they'll run a fantasy football league, and it's like, well, you do know that there's games that'll do all that for you. Like, you don't need to be part of a bigger thing. You can play on your own, or you can play with other people. There's different games out there that can run that stuff. Same with board games as well. Card games, people that like playing poker. There's online sites. I used to fucking work for one.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just like, no, I like to do, I actually like to be in person. It's like, yeah, but sometimes you're not going to be able to do that. Whereas the online thing, well, as long as you've got an internet connection, it's always there. It's just a button press away. And if only they'd give them the chance, they'd realise it's like, oh, hang on a minute, this is exactly the same as what I'm doing. It's like finding a way in for them, but they're reluctant to take that hand up, which is, it's kind of crazy when you think about it, that they turn down something that's going to possibly give them hundreds of hours of entertainment because of the association with, well, I'm going to be a person just sat on my own doing whatever, because of the way that media portrays it.
Now, I will admit sometimes that is a good thing, because take, for example, online gambling. Technically, it's a video game. But if someone who enjoys playing poker in person doesn't want to play online, that's cool, because there's always the chance that that person could give online a go. Then all of a sudden, their poker night on Thursday is accessible every night from the comfort of their living room. And that could cause like gambling problems and shit.
Well, it's not just that, it's a moderation thing. I mean, you don't substitute your real life for video games. Video games are used as a garnish. You don't mainline it. You don't spend all your fucking life there, because that's just asking for problems. That's like spending all your life at the gym, or all your life at the bar, or all your life at work. Like, yeah, moderate yourself. Don't be fucking daft.
Yeah. But
yeah, I think if a lot of people give it a go and they've found the niche that they like playing, whether it be like chess or something like that, or FIFA's another good inlet, Madden for some other players, well, just sports in general, I think, because it's easy to understand. You already sort of know the rule sets. It's just overcoming the way that you input yourself into those games. So learning how to swing a golf club from a controller, or learning to pass a ball in FIFA. Like, it's not hard to do. But I know some people might struggle with it because, again, some people see the controller and how many buttons it's got on it and stuff, and sort of they're scared off by it.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that the Wii did really well, because it had like 2 buttons and that way it's just fucking dead simple. We talked about our own community stigmatising each other as well, with the Facebook and the mobile games. And I think to move forward, I think we need to stop doing that. I don't think we should stop calling out shitty practices.
Oh no, not at all.
Because that's an area where it don't matter where it is, if it's on Facebook, if it's on mobile, or if it's on console or PC, you need to call shitty practices out. You need to look after each other. You need to look after your consumer rights. But I think to be as one and to be welcoming to everyone, and maybe get people migrating from web browser games and mobile games to more substantial experiences, that elitism has to go.
Yeah.
And I'm completely guilty of this. I look down my nose at people that play certain games that I don't like, that I really, really don't like. FIFA, Call of Duty, like JRPGs. There's a lot of shit that I do, which is just, it's wrong. Like, it's totally wrong.
I just took that JRPG comment to heart, man. I'm hurting.
But I'm sure that you look at some of the stuff I play and go, what the fuck is he wasting his time on that for?
EDF.
Yeah. And
I don't get it.
Yeah, and that's fine. Like, I think that's totally, it's a plausible reaction. But I think the difference is that we sort of become more accepting within our own community and go, hey, you like that? Why not try this? Or, like, try and explain to me why you like that so much, and maybe I can relate to you on some level.
No, I do think that that's something that isn't just part of the gaming communities, though. Like, amongst different groups of people, movies, people look down their nose at rom-coms. If you mentioned that you like a rom-com, I absolutely love P.S. I Love You, and people are like, what? That girly film? And it's like, have you seen it? No. Well, then shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like music. Like, people will look down on you for liking certain artists. Like, you actually mentioned this on one of the Dark Souls when you were talking about Nickelback.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you want to like Nickelback, fucking like them. It's the same way like Coldplay. Coldplay are like the most pop version of that argument that you could use. But if you want to like Coldplay, fucking like them. It's literally no skin off my nose. So
I've mentioned her 100 times before. I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan.
Yeah.
I'm also a huge fan of Nine Inch Nails and Slipknot. My music tastes don't define me. I just really like music, and I don't care where it comes from.
You like what you like, and video games should be the same, and there should be no judgment on what you do like. If you want to fucking play walking simulators, more power to you. Like, I don't think that we shouldn't be building walls between us. We should be building bridges.
Yeah.
Because we can learn from each other. We can develop our hobby and show people that it's not what they portray it as. It's what we define it as. And we've to act more mature in how we treat each other to stop sort of propagating the hostile, like, gamers are fucking twats to each other. Because that's, I think a lot of stigmatisation comes from that. It comes from the old I've shagged your mum style, like fucking arguing with each other.
Yeah.
We need to do away with that because it's not good. It's not good for us as a community as a whole.
Yeah. It's with every media though. Like, there's elitism and gatekeeping everywhere.
Yeah, totally.
And like, that's toxic. That needs to stop. Like, I saw an image on Twitter with an Atari, and it had the caption, "If this wasn't your first console, you're not a real gamer." This, like, fuck off.
It's bullshit.
Take your fucking meme and jump in a volcano.
That's like me saying to you, you like music? Yeah, you can't be a fucking music fan. You don't know how to play an instrument, you fucking tool. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, you can appreciate stuff by getting in. We got on almost the base level as far as it comes to gaming. We jumped in at the 80s. So, yeah. We won there at the very beginning, but we've been in a long time. But I'm not gonna fucking poo-poo like my cousin because he's 12 years old, 13 years old, and he don't know what year Pac-Man was released, because it's just, that's like those fucking people that sort of, like, going back to the sports analogy again, talking about when a woman says, "Oh, I like football," and then, like, they'll start asking a fucking, like, really fucking obtuse questions, like, oh, what was this guy's pulse rate in a fucking match in 1976? And it's like, fuck off, you're just asking stuff you're just being a cunt. Don't be like that. Just be more inclusive.
Yeah, toxic gatekeeping. It's the same. I've seen women on Twitter who work in the games industry, talking presenters, I'm talking journalists, I'm talking YouTube personalities. The comments and shit that they get from, like, the gaming elite,
they're just belittling them.
Just questioning.
Yeah, and it's like, no, you can't do that. They know as much as you. They've studied just as much.
No, do you know what, Simon? They don't know just as much as the guys asking the questions. They know more.
Yeah,
that's why they're doing it for a fucking
yeah.
profession. And that level of, like, gatekeeping and misogyny and all sorts of shit. Like, I will openly admit that when I was younger, I was just as fucking guilty of gatekeeping and stuff. And it's been the last few years when I've grown up considerably. And I'm not proud of how I used to be. And I look at people acting like that now, and it does disgust me. It does need to stop. As someone who used to be like that, I can openly say it's not a fucking nice way to be.
Yeah, it's being tribal don't make you cool or anything like that. It just makes you being a fucking twat. That's what it does. Like, you can't... friendly rivalry is fine, but as soon as you start being aggressive and debunking people that have very valid points or are more qualified than you to talk about certain aspects of gaming. Like, I couldn't talk about a fucking JRPG. I wouldn't know where to begin. I've played so little of them that I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Similarly, you won't be able to talk about the things that I'd like to play because...
Mate, I couldn't talk to you about Battlefield if I wanted to.
Yeah, because you've not played it enough.
Yeah.
And that's fine. We're all different and we can all learn from each other's expertise. And it's this tribal fucking mentality that it permeates every fucking one of our pastimes. Like you mentioned, Joe, with the comics. Did you mention that with comics, actually?
No, actually, you didn't mention comics.
But yeah, DC and Marvel, like, those people hate each other. And it's just like, well, you do know you can enjoy both.
Yeah.
It's not like you need to pick a side and, defend it to the hilt. Because sometimes one's going to make a fuck up. The other one's are going to make a... It's an ebb and flow.
Yeah.
You can enjoy both. And it's same with the sports, TV, and maybe it's just how society is. But if we didn't listen to radio or watch TV or go to the cinema and read books, would we have a stigma there? Because you mentioned earlier with the reader or the watcher, it doesn't really make sense to say that because people listen to the radio, they watch TV, they go to the cinema, they read books. It's just normal human behaviour.
Yeah.
And I think that, say, like, if you only read books, would you be shunned by all the other communities?
No.
I don't think you would.
Not at all.
They'd let you get on with it. And I do think that this whole gamer thing, it has to end at some point.
Yeah.
And I think that the beginning of the end for the gamer moniker has already started. We just haven't realised it. And it's begun in the casual market. My auntie, the lady that comes to cut my hair, they don't class themselves as gamers. They just play the games. And although they sort of belittle the people that are playing the games on a more serious scale, it's that mentality that's going to roll over. And eventually, that's going to consume the label gamer, I think. Because you have people that they're growing up and they're playing games because they're just there. It's just another facet of entertainment. You look at my cousins, they both play games. They play Minecraft, they play Halo, they play Fortnite, they do all that other fucking stuff that's like, it's not even on my fucking radar because they're into things that I'm not going to be interested in.
Yeah.
Similarly, they're not going to be interested in my stuff. But they're just going to grow up and go, oh yeah, I play games. Like, it's just another avenue of entertainment that I can take a stroll down.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issues just come from lack of understanding. Like, our grandparents' generation. Not parents. Although, how old's your mum?
She's coming up to her 60s.
Yeah, so she's in her 50s. My dad's in his 50s. When I was born, my dad was 21, and he had a Commodore 64. We've been playing games for a while. He's like one of the first generation to have games.
That's it, yeah.
So even a lot of people around his age, like your auntie and whatnot, even though they're that age, because it was a new thing, it's still, oh, that's different, that's weird. But they kind of carry that mentality with them. And they just remember it from when they were kids. Like people playing Ataris and Commodores and stuff. They don't bother looking at how it is now and how it's evolved and how things have changed. They just like, oh, it's just the stupid bleepy bloopy game. Or the plumber game on Nintendo and stuff like that. And a lot of these people will use outdated references.
I think the crazy thing is, as well, the way that gamers are sort of labelled is the same way that people were labelled when television first come in, when radio first come in. I think people laughed when they says, yeah, why would I want to listen to a broadcast that I can't talk back to?
Yeah.
Do you know, there's people that, the inventions that changed the world, the telephone, the radio, the TV.
Like telephone, why would I want to talk to someone I can't see?
Yeah, that's the whole aspect. And I think there's a lot of misunderstanding onto why these things have become massive. And like the video gaming, it's the big bad wolf to the other entertainments because it's the biggest. It's fucking huge. It's way bigger than cinema. And
I don't think it's the big bad because it's the biggest. I think it's because it's the newest.
Yeah,
and even though it's 40 years old, it is still new. Like, go back in time, look through history. There have been several times throughout history where books have been blamed for shit. And there's been mass book burnings or books have been banned and stuff. And then, people kind of got over it. And then radio came out and music and that shit started to be blamed for things, and then
Yeah.
movies, video.
It's always the last thing out of the gate that gets demonised.
It's the newest thing, and the fact is there hasn't been anything, and I don't think there will be anything that comes after gaming.
Well, the internet became demonised, and I think the real question is, when a new big bad comes and steals gaming's thunder, I mean, what could it be? I literally have no idea.
I don't think there'll be anything. I think gaming's the last thing. Like, you mentioned internet, but now internet is just so integrated into our daily lives. Like, even our TVs connect to the internet. Our phones connect to the internet. Microwaves, fucking fridges. The internet's just a thing. Like, even though we were born in the 80s, we were around before the internet, but I don't really remember life before the internet, even though I didn't have it till I was 15. So I've had like half my life with the internet, but I've just become so used to it. I'm playing Shenmue at the moment, and that takes place in 1986. And there's little things in it that's like, no, this is how life was. You'd wait for someone to go somewhere, or someone would be like, oh, meet me here at 3 p.m.
Yeah, you'd have to do that because there were no mobile phones. You'd have to use a landline.
Yeah, you'd have to go and use a phone somewhere. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I'd go around to my friend's house. I used to have to ring my mum when I got there and let the phone ring 3 times.
Yeah.
So she knew that I got to where I was going. Couldn't just send a text.
And do you know something? They don't even do that now. My auntie she has a tracker on their mobile phones, so she knows where they are at all times.
Yeah, so the thing with the internet is it's just, since it came out, it just got completely integrated, and everything is now more convenient. And because the internet's helped and made everything much more convenient for everything, yeah, there's some nasty shit on it, but it's just the norm now. And people are like, oh, yeah, it's there, we can't live without it. And it's like, well, you did for fucking years. But gaming, because it doesn't add anything in that,
it's optional.
Yeah,
gaming is optional, whereas the internet isn't really optional anymore.
Yeah, so the internet's just,
it's a commodity. Yeah, it's an amenity, sorry, not a commodity.
Yeah, no, that's completely right. And I think that's why that's now been taken out of the equation, and video games are the thing. And if things do come and kind of take over video games in the future, like VR, that's still game related. These are the mediums that we have now, and I genuinely can't think of anything that's going to take over it or come next to it. So either it's going to have to be the point where the people who are blaming it and demonizing it and stigmatizing it after a few decades die out, and the people who are around are the people who have always had video games in their life, like the generation from us and below, because that's when it's going to start being normal. But until then, I think it's just constantly going to...
Well, I think the big thing is learning from the past mistakes and the stuff that we're doing now. So if something new does come along, give the new guys a break. Don't stigmatise them, because chances are they're just fucking normal people.
Yeah.
They're not serial fucking rapists or murderers. They're just people that are enjoying a pastime. And we might not understand it. We might think that their pastime is what our grandparents thought our pastime were with games.
Yeah.
They just don't understand it. It's impenetrable to them. If a new thing comes and we treat it exactly as our elders did, it's going to be vilified again. And I'd rather not live in a world like that. I'd rather just, okay, alright, fidget spinners, cool, fucking go for it. Have fun. Like, don't vilify it. Same with like vaping. Okay, yeah, fucking good for you. I think you look a twat, but I'm not going to fucking give you an hard time for it, because, hey, it's your fucking life. And if a new entertainment come and I don't get it, I can't give them an hard time. We've been through it.
Yeah.
And, like, our parents went through the old rock and roll thing. Like, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. It's like, no, they're not. They're just fucking upstanding people. You can't scaremonger in that way and not expect the people to fight back.
Yeah.
And normalise it, because it's just the way that progress works. And I think maybe that's the thing that people are scared of most. They're scared of the progress that is coming, because they can't stop it. And the way that they can delay it is by saying, oh, well, that school got shut up. Yeah, it's obviously video games' fault.
Yeah, but to reiterate what we've already said, really, I think we need to be better as a community to each other. as far as, you know, if we want outside communities to look at gaming without stigmatizing it
as a positive thing,
we're going to need to lead by example, you know, because things like Gamergate, which made mainstream media news, that doesn't reflect well on us.
It doesn't, no.
And people who aren't into gaming will look at that and go, see, told you so. And even though it's only a very small percentage of people who play games who support that movement and are a part of that thing, it reflects badly on all of us.
It's one bad apple spoils a barrel in cases like that.
That's something that's going to need to be fixed from the inside. When looking at the next big bad that comes along, like I said, I don't think we're going to have anything that comes along unless we have like a new genre of film. But even then, that's going to have nothing compared to video nasties. New music is going to have nothing compared to rock and roll. A new entertainment that's interactive, it's still going to be based on video games. It's still going to be...
It's like an evolution.
Yeah, like let's say VR gets big and people inevitably get hooked on it, because they will. You know, people get hooked on MMOs.
Basically becomes the Matrix.
Yeah, next thing you know, video games are causing people to do that. Despite the fact it's actually mental illness that's causing people to do that, it's video games. It's always easy just to point the finger and blame something for how society is at the moment. And it is going to take our generation and the generations below us moving through time, basically, until it goes away. Like, looking at comics, comic books are acceptable now, but only because the Marvel movies are kicking ass. All of a sudden, it's cool to like Iron Man and Spider-Man, and you see people who used to take the piss wearing Iron Man t-shirts and stuff now. Because they've become mainstream and they've become acceptable. Now all of a sudden, it's cool to be a comic nerd.
It's only taken them like 50 or 60 years to get to that point.
So video games, their time's going to come. There's always going to be detractors. Just in that there's always detractors for things now. Like, I still to this day have to explain to my mum when I go and visit, if I take my PlayStation with me, because I know I'm going to be there for a week, getting her to allow me to plug it into the television is like asking her to pull teeth out, because it breaks the television. It's like, Mum, these TVs, this Sony television that you have, is made to play the Sony PlayStation that I have.
You're talking about screen burning and stuff.
Screen burning and shit, yeah. Because that's how it was when...
It's a common misconception, isn't it, that it just don't do that anymore.
And the thing is, back in the day, back in the 70s, yeah, it was a problem. You know, if you'd leave Pong on the screen for too long...
I'm just going to say, I used to go to my grandparents in Barnsley, and they had... do you remember the Pong, when it was just like its own machine?
Yeah.
And that was just plugged in, and yeah, when the TV were off, you could still see the Pong lines.
And then you see old arcade machines that haven't been looked after properly, and there's ghosting on it. But trying to explain to her that no, these things are made to talk to each other, they're made to be compatible with each other. She's like, oh, I don't know. And my mum's 60, and because of how it was when she was a kid, that's how she thinks it is now. It's going to get better, but people do need to be more open to it. Like, video games aren't bad for your kids. You know, it's been scientifically proven by scientists that do science that it helps with reaction times, and it helps with brain development, and it helps this, that, and the other.
Multitasking as well.
Yeah, and going back to my girlfriend's friend who just like looks down her nose at video games. Why? Just because she never had them and she wasn't allowed to play them when she was a kid, why put your kid through that as well?
I think as well, it's like, why go to all that trouble to hate something that has very little impact on your life as well?
Yeah, and I've spoke to her and I've said, you do realise though that this is going to put your kids at a disadvantage in the playground. Because when all their friends are talking about playing the new game in a few years, your kid's going to be out of the conversation.
Well, it's not to say that their kids are going to be gamers. Again, using that word. It's up to them. If they don't want to be, then they're not going to be. But more than likely, they are going to be because it's. But
I think it should be up to them. It's not something that. It's like, no, you can't watch television. There's no television in this house. It's like, well.
It's like forcing a kid to do a sport or learn an instrument that they didn't want to fucking do as well.
It's like forcing a kid to be a vegetarian.
Yeah, like, you can't do that. You need the kid needs to cut its own path.
And I'm saying that as someone who chose to be vegetarian at 12 years old, still am to this day. I had a problem when my stepmom, who's vegetarian, made my younger brother be vegetarian.
Yeah, it has to be an opt-in. You can't make people do stuff. It's got to be an opt-in.
And I just think, because if you stop your kids from trying to experience something, that's when rebellion happens. That's when they start going behind your back and, oh, I'm going round Tim's to do my homework, but he's not, he's playing on the Xbox. That's when shit like that starts happening, and that's when your kids start turning into dicks. I've seen it happen. I used to do it when I was a teenager, or like 12 to 13, 14. I was allowed to play for like an hour a day, and I had to be in bed by 8, and I wasn't allowed to see friends properly because of all the strict rules. So by the time I'm doing my GCSEs, I'm going around to my friends to do a graphics project, and I'm literally just drawing circles on a piece of paper. Then we're playing games and smoking weed for the rest of the night.
Yeah, you're always going to find a way. Well, like Jeff Goldblum says,
life finds a way.
But yeah, I completely agree with you. I think there is moderation, as with everything.
Yeah.
Do everything in moderation, and you'll be an interesting person. Don't mainline one thing unless you are really, really good at that one thing. So if you're really good at football, mainline it and become a professional. If you are good at playing games, mainline it and become a professional. But don't abandon other parts of your life, because it's important to be a well-rounded person.
And definitely don't mainline heroin.
Yeah, that's a bad idea. I tell you what isn't a bad idea though.
What's that?
Getting in contact with us. Have you got any stories of gaming stigma that you'd like to air with us? Well, put it in comments. Or you can talk to us over at Twitter at StrangePlay UK. You can also join our Discord server. The invite link is in the description. Also, if you like this video or like what we do on this channel, feel free to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share this video with your friends. It helps us grow as a channel, and we really appreciate it. So, yeah, thanks for stopping by and listening to us talk about gaming stigma. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
See you then.